Welcome back to Esports Wales. It's the Welsh Esports League Season 9 and the Rainbow Six competition is about to get underway. I'm Charlotte, joined by Puffobob, and we are ready to bring you our first match here. GOATs, last season's champions, taking on Tribal Esports, who are a bit more of an unknown quantity.
Yeah, they're coming in here as someone we haven't seen. We've seen GOATs, so we do have a high standard for them. Again, they are the winners of the previous season, so going into this matchup, we can expect a lot from them. Now, though, Tribal, will they be able to take the crown for themselves this season? It's a good way to start it off against a competitor, which, again, has won out the previous season, but this is a new season. I think we're going to hope to see also new victors as we head into our first match. We do have two best of ones here, first one being GOATs versus Tribal, and then I do believe Sea Dragons versus Wizards, both best of ones, and we have ourselves only one map. Charlotte, would you like to tell us what that map is?
I mean, I could lie and say it's Emerald Plains, and that would be funny, but it's not Emerald Plains, it's Border. It's Border. Ooh. We're going to Border, which is going to be an exciting one, because, well, I mean, I think it still has the reputation of being the most chaotic map in the pool, so we're guaranteed to see some drama and action, and you saw the groups down below us as well. We're starting off in Group A right now, like you say, with GOATs taking on Tribal Esports. Now, there is a little bit of a situation of potentially Tribal are playing 4v5. Not entirely sure what's happening there, so we'll see when we jump into the game, or I don't know if we have an update from the production team. So, yeah, we're about to jump in, and let's see how many players are in the lobby. It could be 9, it could be 10, but it's the operator bands to come on out first. GOATs on defense, Tribal on attack, Bob.
100%. Right now I'm just waiting for Nanos or a bit of a tab to see that 4v5, or maybe we're going to get to the action first or into the round itself to have that revealed, but we're off to the operator bans, and again, like you said, this is as chaotic of a map as it gets, and in the meanwhile, bans might also tend to look out a bit more out of the usual, right? We get to see our poles, the vertical plays down from below with C4s here are phenomenal, well, the Dokkaebi, again, you do want to clear the aggressors out of their, I would say, comfort zones, and the Dokkaebi can do that with the information gather you get from her ability.
Yeah, there's a lot of information that you can gather on this map. It's such a small one as well that those things that rely on proximity are so much more powerful because you're more likely to be nearby an enemy player. Kavira also being taken away. I guess Tribal Esports just really don't want to allow any of that cheekiness to come on in, especially as, again, they are playing with a man down. That is going to make things increasingly more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte, haven't you heard in the recent patch notes, Kavira is the meta now. The strongest operator in the game, clearly. But honestly, I can't blame him. Look, we're going into a 4v5. It's going to be difficult up against the reigning champions of the previous season, but not to dwell on that too much. Going into round number 1, you're starting on the attack. Border allows a lot of opportunities to catch your enemies off guard, and while though the attackers still have that 6th pick up to the availability, we're just seeing by the current formation of the roster, the Glass, the Ying, the Osa, that we might be seeing an A rush here.
Yeah, that certainly is what it suggests. You can also kind of get away with a B rush with this kind of lineup, but it is a lot more difficult, and especially with the deficit. No changes to the plan just yet, and really we're going to be looking at Mesa to see what information they can gather on that 0. With the cameras that he provides, that's going to be some key intel. Obviously, you're missing 2 drones as well as the attack, so you want to make sure that you can actually find out where these players are. So with 6 cameras to utilize, this is the way to go.
As much as I was hyping up that rush, and I still think that Tribal Esports are going to be committing to it, we're taking a look at GOATs and their secondary utility. We're seeing 4 C4s, so I think the denial won't be too much of a difficulty as long as you manage to bypass those Yings before the post plant is initiated. Nice little Osa shield here towards the office's balcony. You put yourself up for a good cutoff rotation on the side. Again, anyone wanting to back off or play around these soft walls could be an early victim, but for now, we're going to play it safe, right? We don't want to reveal too many hands, or rather too many cards of our deck, while though Cheesy is making his attempt towards opening up this window. One player really close, but again, Border, the name of the game here is going to be aggression, and CGology is not a man to waste any time here to try and get a bit of a run-out action. A couple of shots here to reveal himself and his position, but Tribal Esports, they are slowly starting to make their presence around this office side a bit more clear.
Yeah, like we said though, there are so many C4s. Grenade comes in from Starnell just to try and dislodge some utility, a player perhaps, but nothing doing there. So again, we hit into a bit more of a lull, trying to set things up. There's some shots coming through. The mute, actually, you're a Spongy taking some damage. I believe that would be Cheesy through the wall, and Starnell as well is there as backup.
Tribal Esports, again, as strong as this utility can be, you do have to push forward with it. Even considering you're at a 4v5, any opening pick here is at a necessity. You lose one player for the first and you're already down 2 players against the opponents. And that's where Goats can just play that leverage game. Smokes are out, you put the glass forward, but look at CGology pushing forward, finding 2 in an instant deagle. Can we find the third? Yes, there it is! CGology has not lost his touch from the previous season, and that's why Goats were the champions here. But you still have Starnell in a 1v5. I think he can do it.
Yeah, maybe. CGology as well. You can tell he's feeling himself, running outside to try and find this last kill. Instead, it's up the stairs. Loris goes down, but still hunting for technically the ace. Not going to be done as it's the second found, but Yogi's there. So a nice cleanup at the end of the round for the Goats, and really that was all on CGology.
Honestly, I gotta hand it to him. Smokes were down right. Normally the glass should be a bit more preferred to be on the outside of the building, so plays like that can't happen, but you up close that distance with the SMG, you get yourself right through the smoke, so you can see everything just about as clearly as your enemies, and you sneak into their side, find that 3k easily, and while the 2 players are already distracted on the outside, just trying to figure out where the hell CGology came from, you pull out the Deeg, you put him to rest, and you find that round number 1. We're going into the second one again. Tribal Esports this time around won't have to phase that upper floor, or rather the site being on it. For the other hand though, they will still have to push the upper floor, and that's where I think this attacking side can find a bit of leverage. You can play around this verticality, and I imagine that the defense are going to be setting some value up on this top floor with a couple of roamers as well. So you, again, finding these early picks to get yourself down on site, this is a great opportunity to do it.
Yeah, indeed. As we do jump into this round, it's one interesting thing about Border is how small it is. We already talked about the proximity being a factor in the operator bans, but you've also got to think about CCTV upstairs and how difficult it is if you lose CCTV, even on when you're defending, you know, bathroom tellers. If you can't have a hold on CCTV or break room, it just gives so many angles for the attack to really work their way across. But Goats doesn't look like they're going to be bunkering down there for now, so instead a bit more of a more fortified position elsewhere. That is potentially an angle that Tribal Esports can get themselves in, especially with this RAM. Verticality is going to be really important.
Yeah, 100%, right? But Tribal Esports, they haven't been the most fast. Velocity hasn't been a part of their name, and, well, for now, they're going to have to stick to their plan. Play it by the book. We see the Thermite, so I imagine a possible vent push here, as Slayer has also set himself to clear out a bit of this ground. Now being supported, 2 players split up between the map for each site. I am liking what Goats are bringing, though. We could see a potential Pogmat here if the drone is not careful, although Cheesy able to pick up CGology again. The reigning champion of the previous round is now gone, but Starno falls to the Pogmat. Do we get the finish? Yes, the bullets do just end up connecting. Young Yogi able to secure the Thermite before he escaped the grasp of the bear trap, and we have ourselves a nice little 1 kill for an eye, but in general, it's still Goats in the lead.
That is honestly unforgivable for Starnell to get caught in the frost mat there. They had drones going in through the window. That should have been able to spot that there was the welcome mat in the way. Bit of a miscommunication here from Tribal Esports as things start to fall apart a little bit inside of the team, but even still, Goats just 1 player to the good, and that can very quickly fall apart. Tribal Esports are going to have to hope that Cheesy can get something else going with this R4C.
Hey, it's not the round done just yet, but if Goats are going to look to plan and push their way into this one window, they're going to have one major difficulty. It's a very one-dimensional jump in, and people can just spray it on down, right? That's the biggest difficulty of windows in the first place, so we're going to have to hope that these smokes can do our best, while the Slayer could sneak in into the backlines of the enemies, get a great backstab, jumping on in. You have the ping, the pre-fire there as well, and Jekyll doesn't find much of a fight back. Murder, on the other hand, is able to retaliate. We get the strike back, second for Young Yogi this round, and while in Bathroom, two final players battling it out while Murder is attempting to do what his name indicates in the first place. Left in a 1v1, the Grim does pay the price HP-wise, as a single bullet from this SMG-11 should be able to put him down, but does have the diffuser again. Countless seconds jump in here. Is not going to go punish, and pre-fire from Murder to finish it out. Goats now on 2 rounds, but we gotta hand it to Tribal. They did really good there.
Yeah, I saw Mesa walking towards the frost mat there, and I got so scared. I was worried, but in the end, it all turns out fine, and just traded out again. It was a nice clutch attempt there from Mesa in a 1 versus 3, but when you're in this position of playing 4 versus 5, the odds are just so stacked up against you. But the Goats now going to their tertiary site of Ventilation and Workshop. This should be the best opportunity for Tribal to get on the board. And realistically, if we see this pattern continue of a 2 rounds and then Tribal get that tertiary on side, then you're just looking at a pretty standard half of Rainbow Six Siege. It's not necessarily the end of the world.
100%, right? At this point as well, I imagine this first half is going to be the rough curve of this matchup here for Tribal. When they're going to go over to the defense, again, it's going to be the attackers needing to push into their grasp. So in that point, it allows a bit more aggression. You can be a lot more creative and have much more wiggle room when you're on the defensive compared to the attack, which Tribal Esports still handled well. Again, to give them credit, they split themselves into 2 players, tried to take as much ground of the site. So again, Goats were kind of forced into their site, and then they crumbled. Even though the result wasn't there, by the end, the fact is still that Goats were at the mercy of the man count being in their favor due to a 4v5 beginning. But Tribal, again, off to a good beginning. This is looking like a better match as we go on. We head back to this middle ground, or rather the second best site when it comes down to the first floor. It will be Ventilation, and this time around, we're going to see a bit more of that vertical presence.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Pretty much all of the ceiling above this site is soft and available for the attackers to use to their advantage to find angles on players that are on the site itself. So obviously the Goats are going to make sure that they don't let Tribal Esports wrest control too easily of this top floor position. And yeah, this is going to be where the focus is. We can already see the repels coming in from the attack as well.
Tribal setting themselves up nicely for this top take. Have the Jackal for 1 clearage. Now the Deimos can be a bit more preferred now considering that the Caveira is banned, but still better than nothing. Also the Ram hoping to keep her alive for as long as possible. But Goats, it depends on how aggressive they're going to get. Alright, and we're taking a look at some of these players. Murder, Sigeology, Young Yogi, they're good at these swings and they're very confident at them, so you might as well try and look and take them out as soon as possible. But Tribal, again, doing this type of 2-2 split. 2 go for the upper take, a bit of pressure applied from the rest of the roster around Ventilation windows as we push ourselves deeply into east towards this offices again. Fountain could be a great anchor of this top hold. You down on the ADS, and Young Yogi's able to find the timing, and that's just the one risk you're putting yourself at, right? You lose the first player and you're already 2 below Tribal Esports' man count.
That's such rough timing as well for Starnell. The classic Siege timing comes to bear, unscoping at just the wrong moment. Sigeology does take some damage downstairs, but Young Yogi gets a second frag. Slayer Bun also taken out on the top floor, and that's very much the Aruni's domain. Oh, sorry, the Solis's domain.
Jigo with a really good angle here in Tribal Esports at a bit of a desperate moment, outnumbered against a potential flawless. At the same time, all angles covered and your entry denied from each and every single step. GG with the diffuser can hold down this for as much as you like, and as much as we can also respect Tribal for hoping that Goats will swing. We've seen in the past couple of rounds that isn't very Well, it isn't very common we get to see. Although in the meanwhile, Murder proves me wrong by just going around finding a nice little roundabout on to Messi to find that fourth. And all that's left of Cheesy stuck outside the site with, what we've seen for the entirety of this match, right, is able to get a tertiary kill. But the endgame kills won't matter. The result is still against you.
Yeah, just 35 seconds left in a 1v5. He's made it a 1v4, like you said, with that sort of late round kill, but Murder's still round here inside a supply, and well, it's not getting any easier here for the attacker right now. Cheesy left to just scramble as the clock keeps on ticking, and yeah, the throbs in the ears into red time, still stuck outside, and Jeagle has been waiting this whole time.
Ooh.
Death from above with the TCSG. It's the third round for the Goats.
Yeah, even though the enemies are kind of hoping for someone to join mid-round to make this a bit more of an even matchup, in the end, it will not result, so it's going to be impossible at this point. It is a best of one, and that's kind of the downside of this for Tribal Esports. They don't get themselves that second chance and the luxury of a best of three, but it is the group stage. That's the light at the end of the tunnel here. As we're past round 3, Goats have secured themselves a draw within this first half at the very bare minimum, and we head back to the bans, and honestly, I could respect these quite well. We've seen both these operators picked up almost each round. The Cade is a no-brainer to go without, because honestly, he's just so good. You get that TCSG, you get the ACOG, which is now after the more recent patch notes quite rare on the defense, but most importantly, the wall is blocked, and you can also play safe and sound, right? With a bandit, you have to be a bit more active around it.
Yeah, indeed. But there's bandit on side immediately, so not the end of the world, but again, there's a lot more things to deal with that. You have a buck, you've got frag grenades probably on the glass, perhaps. So, you know, there's ways to deal with the bandit batteries that you just don't have with the electro claws. So it's a trade-out, but it does also mean that there's focus that's going to have to be paid over towards that utility, whereas before with the electro claw, you kind of just go, well, that's unfortunate, and then kind of move on with your day. Interesting to see that we don't have a Thatcher coming along, but I guess when you're in a 4v5, you really, every single bit of utility counts, and every signature ability counts as well.
100%. I'm right now, I'm like, deep inside my heart, I'm not against Goats, because again, they are the Goats, clearly. They have been in the previous season. But I am, deep down my heart, I'm crossing my fingers for Tribal to at least win a couple of rounds. 4v5s are just epic at times to see, and winning them out is that much more better. But currently we're going into round number 4. It's looking a bit dire. Once more, these rounds keep on piling up, and Goats are definitely recognizing the threat they hold of that one extra player. It's going to be a difficult attack, and it already has been for Tribal, as we've seen up until now. But maybe they continue into against this top floor, as the bright side of things might be the fact that Tribal have now seen Goats on all 3 sides, right? We've seen them on top floor. Geology, don't you dare, Cheesy! What a shame! Do we get a second swing from the man himself? He tends to back off and give a bit of mercy to Tribal Esports, but as I was talking, right, Tribal's seen them on all 3 sides so they can adapt, but now they need to adapt with 2 players down already. Geology impact and hand throws it, but the Zero's waiting for him. There we go. Messi on the instant punish. A bit of a whiffy shot, but Lori making it all account for nothing as the SMG-11 strikes, bleeds up the kill feed, and it's all lit up. Once more with Goats, 2 players ahead.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It seems Geology there could have been good for another as well. Unfortunately for him, not the case, but either way, the round already looking like it's fairly wrapped up for the Goats. A kill here would be good, and Murder does fall to Starnell, so suddenly a bit of peril thrown into the mix here for the Goats. They can't quite rest on their laurels just yet, and they've potentially counted their chickens before they've hatched, Bob.
Mm-hmm. I've seen in chat earlier, someone was hyping up Starnell being their IRL mate, and he's going to be the one to carry, so let's see it. Starnell, this might be the round for him to shine. A couple of wall bangs attempted, but they don't connect in the end game, although the barricade is left open, and Starnell's feeling that green goblin mask, the temptation to cheek it on through, possibly just rush it on in. You know, you have a decent gun, so it's very plausible, but you don't head check in Siege. It's ranked 101. You pull out the drone, you get this information. Jekyll has no clue about it, right? I don't think he spotted the drone. Maybe the sound cue's there. Yeah, he's checking it about, but 1 minute for the attackers, and eventually they will need to start pushing.
Yeah, they will be forced into action eventually. You can see that Mesa is starting to explore outside a break room with a drone ahead of him to gather some of this information, but it is just a cautious approach. Argus camera comes on out, and the C4 over the top from Spongy just doesn't quite connect. A bit further back, Mesa playing things safe for now, and Spongy actually drops down below as Mesa finds a kill onto Yogi. It's now a 2 versus 2, and we were saying this round wasn't quite over, Bob. Suddenly, things start to become all that more doable. Just the one player on the site, but Mesa's going to have to be careful about the one down below. Starnell flash on in, gets the kill. It's now Spongy left to clutch, 1 versus 2, but Mesa doesn't know where he is, trying to get into the site. The key is now down cold, Case on the floor, and in a 1 versus 1, all Spongy has to do is hide as the timer's too damn low, just planting now, extension into the round. Not quite aware of where this player is, spotted outside, and now the diffuser's been planted. This is absolute bedlam in the end of this round, and Starnell's got the information, got the read. He knows where Spongy's going to be playing from, but there's information on this player as well. The ping on out, shotgun through the wall, but doesn't quite connect on the first, trying to still take it round. Spongy in the clutch, gets it done, and no rest for Tribal. Still a goose egg on the boards.
Oh, that was such a good setup in the end game for Tribal. They had the last 20 seconds, a 2v1 on site because Spongy just decided to drop on down. He went for a bit of a trip somewhere else, and again, they got the kill with a flash. It was a 2v2, but then it was just a bit of miscoordination from Mesa. He didn't feel the need, the aggression, the just in general confidence to push into his site.
It's indecision. It's indecision, Bob. That's the problem there.
It's also not having information, right? If the mute was somewhere in E-Box, somewhere in Sandwich, hidden away, you can go for the plant, your teammate falls, and then you're in a 1v1. You can't really risk it. You have to think it in an instant. That's a bit difficult to do. But in the end, it was close. It was really close. They could have almost had it, but almost won't cut it. Ghost here. 4 rounds for themselves on the defensive, looking as good as ever, but I would consider Border to be quite lenient for the defensive. So again, I'm not saying it's going to be an amazing comeback for Tribal, and I'm not promising anything, but if it's anywhere that they're going to start claiming on these rounds a bit more promisingly, it's going to be that second half.
You just can't go into it with a 6-0 scoreline though. They've got to build up some kind of buffer here. And so far, it's not looking great. Already down 4-0, like we've said. And yeah, a couple rounds have been close. They've come down to 1v1s. You know, set the second round on this very site where Mesa nearly got that 1v3, and then obviously the previous where we saw the 1-on-2 come out for the Goats. So there's positives to take, but we need to see Tribal get something over the line here, because even with a 5-1, it's going to be tricky. These next 2 rounds are must-win for the attack. Otherwise, you can start to kiss the points goodbye.
100%. Tribal now, once more against this bathroom. They should be able to set up a bit more accordingly to it. We see also the setup on the operator side of things has changed quite drastically. We don't get to see that verticality in play as much more. And in general, clearing out this top site is going to be all down to Cheesy and the inability of droning it on out. I'm hoping there's going to be some support from the rest of the players, but they've spread themselves out thin for now. Still trying to gather information. Some of these players close to windows. You take the challenge, but see, Geology proves why you don't swing into that DMR. Solo first to fall. Trouble Esports aren't completely out, but again, they're set aside by this very difficult situation. You're on your drone. Geology is able to get away with another on Repel, and Messi, you should be on your phone during work.
Where's the trade there, Bob? Oh,
he was on his phone. He was playing Clash of Clans. He was too distracted.
And Physiology jumps out. That's a ping on that player.
God.
Oh, you're joking. You're joking me. Get out of here. Physiology has finally been shut down by Mesa, but it's another 1 versus 5. Mesa's found a couple here, though. Potentially a possibility here, Bob.
A possibility, Mesa. Definitely 2 kills are going to be good, and I'm quite scared that CGology almost got an ace in the standard. It would be a 4K, but hey, that's all the Tribal Esports have to offer. Now a 0 and a 1v3. The C4 is there, and the pot and the whole murder. No mercy. Relentless on it, chucks it half court, and into the hoop. Found themselves that 5th round, and like you said, these 2, which were meant to be Tribals, one of them already gone, but the bare minimum still remains. Yeah, otherwise, they're going into the second half with a donut, and they're going to have to bite the bullet into the second. It's going to be difficult. It already is. Let's hand it to them. Tribal, even though, you know,
it was difficult from round 1. Let's face it. Yeah, 4v5 is rough. Ugh. That's the second round in a row that CGology has almost got an ace, like 4K, whatever you want to call it, and then been shot by the last guy because he's hunting for it. The sharks smell blood in the water, but again, you're in a 5v1 at that point. You might as well go for it.
You might. It's right. You have to. It's kind of the Siege mindset. It's the winner's mindset. You're looking to get yourself.
It's the gentleman's code. You've got to
exactly.
If you're in a 5v1, you got to hunt for the ace.
Right, even if it ends up costing you the potential round, it's just integrated into the Siege player brain. It's a part of the code, right? Either that or you're boring. So we can clearly see that both these teams are very exciting. So that's one up. But Tribal Esport, now on the attack once more. We're taking a look at Goats, right? They've been running a very standard comp, running these powerhouse operators such as the Aruni, which again, CGology has been proven to be quite a menace on the gun with one of the fair few rare guns with the ACOG. And then we have the Izami working Youth Smoke. There's nothing out of the ordinary. They're just able to take these guns and take them with full confidence, swing out whenever they need to. And we've seen that the timings fit Goats quite well.
10 seconds to go.
Bob, do you believe in the comeback? Do you believe in the dream?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now, Tribal Esports are just kind of handing them these freebies to make Goats think like they're going to win. But then it's going to be 6-0.
Yeah.
Then we're going into overtime. Then it's going to be 7-7 because Tribal are still being merciful. And then it's going to be 8-7.
I see. Well, we've got the script right here, folks.
Yeah, didn't mean to spoil it.
Yeah.
It's my bad.
I can't believe you do that. We're going to have to dock you some pay, I think.
No, well, but, I mean, can we cut this? Oh, no, we're live. Unfortunate. Oh, well.
Yeah, can we get the editors on that?
Oh,
Never
jeez, he
mind.
threw the wall.
That's
Give
so
young
nice.
some space.
Starnell was on the drone there, to be fair, so that's really nice information being picked up here by the attack.
Oh, but CGology just not giving them a bit of breathing space. Finds one right back on instantly. Leads the ram as well, so adios to your verticality. Goes for another swing, just the boost up. Now it's only the few standing in your way. And you do get a couple of shots your way. That's only half HP. But you decide to push out against the shield operator. Find the panic cure. And that's the third for CGology. But he's looking for more. He finds the one tap and Ghosts going in with a flawless first half. And what a way to finish things out. I mean, what?
Third time's the charm for CGology. He's found his ace. Goodness me, when a player is activating like this, there's almost nothing you can do. Even if they were 5v5, CGology is just on a completely different level today.
I'm starting to think that CGology might be able, just might, like it's a small chance, but stand up to Kanye East. I don't know. It's close chances.
Yeah, Kanye East is still the GOAT. Is still the GOAT of all time. But
my number one. When does he appear in Munich? When does he appear in Munich, ladies and gentlemen?
Dude, he's cast in the grand final. We went over this.
No way.
He's an absolute celebrity.
East.
We miss
Please
you, Kanye East.
Come back to
Either way. we've got the first set of bans here for the second half. Not too many surprises. The same attacking agent operators gone, the Dokkaebi and the Ace. But on the defense here, the Capcan and the Mirror being taken away. Now, the Capcan certainly interests me.
I can see the vision. You know, honestly, with Tribal Esports, since they're already a man down, Goats are going to feel themselves confident, right? They're on the attack, they're going flawless right now, they want to be quick, they want to be precise, but they also want to be going into these gunfights without too much of a thought in the back of their head that there's these constant traps lurking all around, and the frost can still be spotted. You go into a map like Border, Capcans can be really well placed and hidden, and that's free kills for them, right? And that's where Tribal Esports could find themselves a couple of rounds. So I imagine Goats want to get themselves into those ranked sessions as soon as they possibly can, and finish out this match within regulation, again, as soon as they can. So honestly, I can see the Capcan. The Mira, I don't think we need to mention why. She's just terrifying to play against. In the meanwhile, though, you know, we talked about that office rush earlier. The one major aspect of it, at least 90% of the time, is a shield operator. I'm just saying.
Certainly the scary one to come up against if you're Tribal Esports. But again, there's opportunity for Goats to switch away from it, but I mean, the way that Geology's been playing, probably just wants to just completely, just get in there, cause some mayhem. And, you know, Goats still on for the flawless game. I'm not going to say the scoreline, because if I say the scoreline and I curse it and it doesn't happen. But either way, Tribal Esports, they've got to find a defensive round win here, albeit probably on the best site on the map. But even still, again, the 4v5 is going to be so difficult to come up against, and Geology might just be going in for this for now. Sends in a smoke. Getting in. The F-Knight Dreadmine takes away his vision momentarily, but now he's just in the corner of the site, takes that away, and he's just going for some pot shots. He wants this round done.
Yeah, 100%, but there isn't much of a counterplay on the defensive, and Geology is going to be getting away with Scott 1 free, pushing forward the Monty. Indestructible force to be reckoned with, pulls out the pistol, goes for a second, and Spongy's able to find one with a nade. What precision on utility. Cheesy's still trying to fight back for this fountain side, but instantly taken out, and it's all left down to Messi, the last one standing. C4 of desperation, bounced on back, but the Monty still falls. Now you only have 4 more players to clear up. Only 4 more players, but Spongy's going to end it then and there, and we have ourselves the first matchup of the group stages here today. The best of 1, Goats going flawless. An unfortunate beginning for Tribal here with a 4v5, but on a map like Border, you have to have as many guns as you can bring.
Yeah, for sure. It's certainly a rough result for them. I
won't lie. It's just rough, right?
It's just sad to watch, Bob. Like I wasn't. It just my happiness was draining. It was just like watching like a professional boxer beat up a puppy. You know, it was just like. It was just sad to watch. Like, I don't know how else to put it. There's not really much analysis to do there. It's just like you're in a 4v5, you're on Border where, again, the gunplay is important in Siege, but Border is probably the map where it's the most important, and you're playing with a permanent deficit. I mean, what more is there to say?
Like, there's no better analogy for it, right? Mike Tyson coughing baby, you put him in a ring, who's going to come out on top? It's if we saw a map like Skyscraper, where utility is a bit more important and you have those extremely vital defense rounds, I think Tribal could have stood a lot better of a chance. But unfortunately, they ended up siding with Border and hoping that it was going to be a 5v5. But again, you're going up against Goats. Goats have extremely good fragmentative players, such as Geology being a prime example there in the couple of rounds where they just got away with a 3k like it was nothing. And honestly, not the best pick of maps, but hey, Tribal, this isn't the only time you get to play, so it's not the end of the world, but we still have one matchup after this.
Yeah, they play later, in fact. They play later, Tribal Esports do, but then that's the end of their group stage, so they're not playing next week. But, I mean, they asked in the chat if they could sub in a player mid-game, so I assume that means they're at least going to have 5 for their next one. They're playing against the Wolfhounds. Very shortly, but we are going to be going over to Group B with SEA Dragons against Wizards, and again for Wizards it's a similar story. That's going to be their last opportunity to get points here in groups. We don't know the result of that game just yet, but when we come back from this break, hopefully we'll be much more in the know. So we'll see you in just a few minutes.
Didn't mean to have you waiting for so long, but we're going to be heading off to the second best of one here today, and it will be Sea Dragons facing Wizards. It's still me, Puffobob, on the mic, joined by Charlotte. And Charlotte, we didn't see quite a long match going into Border, but onto this one, it will be new map, new teams, and honestly, crossing my fingers for a bit more longevity.
Hey, minimum 8 rounds. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. Is that we get that it's not a 7-0. Yeah, it was a rough one for Tribal Esports. Interestingly enough, yesterday they were on the benefit of some player no-shows. In Valorant, they beat Puffins 13-10. They're playing 5v3. It was basically the Puffins basically just locked 3 duelists and fragged out like crazy and nearly won, but didn't. So Tribal, you know, karma has its way of coming back around, but this time it wasn't as close. Yeah, 7-0 in the previous series. But like you say, Bob, we do have a different match in front of us. SEA Dragons taking on the Wizards. And for the Wizards, again, this is their last opportunity to get some points on the board in the group stage, although I still don't know whether they won or lost their previous match. So I'm gonna do a bit more digging as we jump into Nighthaven Labs.
And as you're digging for clues, I'm going to be talking about the map itself. We are going on to Nighthaven Labs. This is a map that has creeped up to the favorites of many players because of how well it's built. Considered to be the best map of the recent changes, known as a liker of Emerald Plains, layer is still getting adapted upon, but Nighthaven, it found its success quite quickly. So in general, both these teams are going to a standard map that's been very exposed within the best of one scene of competitive in general, be it T3, T2, or T1 even. So I imagine both will be about as comfortable as it gets on a map that is or has been picked up more than Chalet, more than Clubhouse. Again, the old-timers of the comp map pool. But in general, we head into round number 1. Sea Dragon starting on the defense, so they should be able to comfortably come out with a 4-2 split, as the bans here won't be too much of a surprise. On a map like Nighthaven, Breach matters a bunch, right? It's as much as CC on Clubhouse. So we get rid of the Ace, we get rid of the Thermite, so the big holes won't be as easily made. You're going to have to resort to that Thermite, or not to that Thermite, to the Maverick, to Hibana, can openers, which can be a bit tedious to work with, while on the defense, denying those breaches will be out of consideration besides a Mute and a Tubarão, which don't really destroy gadgets.
Yeah, and we don't even see the Tubarão here for Sea Dragons instead. Just a Mute on the side. Interestingly enough, though, we've got a couple other intriguing picks, I'll say. Certainly things keeping the eye on is Vorti on the Warden and Die on the Clash. Those are really the exclamation marks for me. Not necessarily out of the ordinary, particularly on this top floor. Clash is quite useful, and Warden as well to deal with smokes, but not as common, so we're going to have to see some value come on out from both of these players to really justify those picks. As well, Digestive has gone out of the map, and Billy Ray is looking to try and find a spawn peak.
Was very close to it. Some of these players from Wizards were already approaching that, but in the end the attackers end up taking the safer route for their own safety, and we already see the Ash, so Mutes aren't going to be standing for too long. We can open up that bottom stock window, in the meanwhile send out an Ash charge right on after, and again the breach should be quickly done and dusted. Also a faster way of Maverick tricking, it's Hibana tricking. If you can place these pellets correctly, you get rid of the anchor steady points of this breach, and the wall should be quickly done. The EMP impact to support, I guess we're not going to be utilizing those charges just yet, which could come in handy when dealing with the Clash Shield later on, so I guess reserve those for now. But again, one of the breaches already established. We're taking a look at the Wizards. They've gotten themselves good inside intel from these drones.
Yeah, indeed they do. The Ash charge as well, potentially to open up that IT breach fully. Instead, it's a secondary shotgun from Akin to get it done instead. Like you say, keeping those breaching rounds in the pocket for dealing with the Clash when that confrontation eventually comes on through. So the 5 versus 5 is just over half of the round left to play. And information being gathered here by Digestive can just sit behind his shield and watch the entryway as the Dockerby called Logic Bomb comes on out from Shiva. And there comes the first of those breaching rounds. It's going to cause a little bit of a problem, but Digestive still standing strong for now.
Yeah, the one upside here is that they can pick up the shield and deny it from being blown off. So again, utility is being wasted, but majorly also the time. Wizards are down to their final minute, and they've utilized quite a bunch. The expense has been at large, and we're taking a look at this secondary gadget. We have 6 EMP impacts, which is quite crazy from the attacking side. Flash is now out. Digestive will put down that shield for safety concerns and reasons, as Aiken picks off the first. That's Rexfall and first contact. A bit more confrontation towards this IT breach, while Vordy elsewhere. Shotgun able to sing its song, equalize out the count, but the push is still going down towards main as Wizards are making their steps a bit more valuable, but they still have Billy Ray to take clear of, which they do so very successfully. 2 in an instant, trade it all back. Digestive swinging with that secondary to find 2 easy pops. And now it's all left down to Spirit to make up for the mistakes of his fallen teammates. 2 players to go up against, 20 seconds, odds are low, and I doubt this is going to be as winnable, especially when the Clash is still alive.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to point out. You've still got a Clash up against you. No case as of yet. It's still on the floor inside of Electrical. You've just got a shotgun watching and waiting for it. The goo mine goes off as well. There's literally no way for Spirit to find an impact in this round to see Dragons get themselves on the board early.
Good first. Well, we did see a lot of confrontation from both these sides. Wizards, again, as much as they did win the round, I do really like giving credits to well-played initiations. They got themselves into that connector side. They confronted the Clash with a flash, and in general, made their presence be known. And that was enough of a distraction for some of these attackers to also push up into IT. Now, while they were ended up challenged by Billy Ray, who they took out quickly. In the end, Sea Dragons just gunned them down. They peaked, they went for these 2v1 initiations against the singles isolated players on IT, and then took the care of rest, which was basically just Aiken or Spirit on the Ash left standing. So defensive claim round number 1, which is quite a tradition on this map. As we head to the second one, we are going down to this bottom floor, and we also see 2 denial operators from that plan. The smoke, again, usual, standard, nothing out of the ordinary. I'm looking forward to what the damage on the yokai will be.
Yeah, Jaffa's bringing along the Echo here. Like you say, the yokai drones, denial of plant, and again, just more information. We could see Dragons using the Clash really well to gather intel around the map, just nearby the site. I imagine the usage of these yokais will be quite similar.
Yeah, I think so. Again, this is... Oh, Digestive feeling himself, going on for a nice little run out.
Again.
It isn't responded to, because again, Wizards do take these safe routes of just playing by the book, going up towards IT, finding themselves cargo, and so on and so on. But you talk about it, right? An extension with a yokai here is definitely expected. Players do like playing close on those vending machine stairs, and I think that extra information is quite valuable. But if we get ourselves these 2 opening breaches, both towards that single room, which I always forget the call out of, and at the same time main towards this bottom site. But Sea Dragons hold one thing in their hands: verticality, which completely denies all entry.
Yeah, indeed it is. It's Digestive looking to contest here on the Animus breach, but it doesn't appear like there's really any kind of skirmish happening there for now. Just some warning shots, some falling back towards tank to more passively hold this angle. And again, the Zoto canisters just to try and stall and delay the push, as Wizards will be finding themselves having to come up against this utility, come up against these players, as we can see the smokes getting activated upstairs as well. Flash is coming on in, and they know they can at least access Animus, at least briefly. The hatch is reinforced, there's no coverage from above here, from the defense. Now there's more information being given over to the Wizards as well. Logic Bomb again rings on out. That's sound cues handed over to this attacking side. It's just a question of whether they're going to be able to work on it. The drone comes in as well. The Digestive has been spotted, forced to dip away just behind the pillar here. Send some damaged spirits in direction, but still staying alive and still in the 5 versus 5 as the final minute of the round approaches.
100%. Wizards, even though they haven't been able to claim that top floor fully, they're able to work around Animus. You get yourself this default entry, there's no goals to denied, and as long as the plan can be stuck, you're going to find yourself in a great amount of leverage. As Spirit will kick things off here, it is Sea Dragons being dealt the first caveat, a bit of damage towards the Ashe, down onto the other, and it seems like this Ashe is true to that R4C, dealing a catastrophic amount of damage to the defensive, as they don't have much of a response to it. The plant is going down, but your smoke is set aside. His priorities should be denying it, but he's caught in a 1v1. Billy Ray does eventually claim it, but look what it's cost them. The plant not stuck on through. Down towards Wilco's here is going to be great, as Spirit now a single bullet away from death, but there's going to be no information. Alix looking to hunt you down, and even with a hand harder now revealing your location quite live to the Deimos. The pickups is going down, but there's one behind you should be wary of, and it's the Deimos himself, the hunter of the final couple, and also the last kill here for him. And honestly, well played by Wizards to capitalize on the smoke not being in his position.
Yeah, indeed. It's nice work there, and a brilliant 3K from Spirit to really open up the site and enable Wizards that way in that they were honestly lacking a little bit, if not for the gunplay. But yeah, works out nicely for them. And now we can see a reattempt here at the bottom floor site. And I'm seeing something interesting here, Bob.
You are? I am as well. I'm starting to feel
seeing a Denari.
fresh. Exactly. Something new, something fresh. And honestly, similarly to Nighthaven, these two, there's one thing that both Denari and Nighthaven share, is that being loved upon release, being loved and growing on people very quickly. The Denari just offers so much freedom, right? Imagine an Aruni, but just more versatile, just anywhere on the map, however you wanted, and with a lot more, I would say, a lot more, options of dealing damage, because it recharges on its own. You don't need to shoot it like an Aruni gate. And the one thing that the Aruni has over the Denari is just the gun. Again, that DMR with an ACOG really can deal some damage, but utility-wise, Denari is just an upgrade.
Yeah, for sure. Although I will say I do disagree with you. I think Nighthaven Labs was kind of hated on release a little bit.
Okay. It's more of a thing that it needs to grow on. Like, it's growing on people, right? I think the operator is similarly wasn't hated, but people didn't know how to do it. Similarly as to Nighthaven, any new map, people just don't know how to play it. But okay, yeah. Denari was never hated. You are right there.
Yeah, so another common Puffobob L.
Unbelievable, how dare
the breaches are opened up, and the breaching rounds here from Spirit used to open up the breach, open up onto that deployable shield as well, make the on-site positions of Sea Dragons just a bit more unstable, a little bit more insecure in where they're playing, but even still, Wizards are taking things slow. It's a full map clear coming through. Alex just being diligent, clearing those corners. But no one on the top floor right now, so really just chasing ghosts upstairs. It's quite literally everyone downstairs right now. It's just a question of whether Wizards are going to be able to fight their way through yet again.
I'm very surprised no one's resorted to the C4, and at the same time that no one has left in a body bag just yet. Digestive ends up resorting to gun and violence. 2 off the board in an instant. A third swing from the Warden, and Jaffers is going to be leaving heavily wounded by the confrontation with Shiva. There's the C4 right from below. Shrapnel and boom, enough to deal the damage and take out the third. Wizards down, outside of sight, locked, and hoping to find a re-entry, but again, you're down to a minute, and the player count just will not suffice, so you're going to have to start finding these easy pick'ems, but you get confronted. A single bullet. Jaffers very heavily wounded from the previous gunfight, and 1 bullet to the arm, enough to find the execution. Although there's still plenty to go here. We have a long run, but not a lot of time. You try to find, you do find Rex. A second as well. 3 for Alex. Where has this gone so badly? Wilcox continues using the disruption on site in his will, and Worthy they're returning the fires. It's left down to a 1v1. Denari Hibana, who's still wanted to rain out on top again. This is just for leverage on the round count, because it has has been a bit of a stalemate up until now, but his
support.
action, his booming plant is going downward. He does not have a clue about it, doesn't seem to be baited. The voice comm didn't come on through, going for a bit of a rotation on towards the exosuit, but Hannah, you have to stop wasting your time here. The opportunity slipped your mind, and now Wardy's gotten closer by each step, could go for the wall bang, doesn't have the necessary position, is trying to go for these wall bangs, the default ones around the plant, but Wilcox is holding him, laying down, belly flopped and finding the last. It got very close for the defensive, and they held it in their grasps, but just a 3K from Alex to find the conversion.
Yet again, a 3K from a Wizards player has done absolute magic for them. I mean, that was a ridiculous transfer over onto, I don't even remember who it was, but the player swinging from Exo. Yeah, just got absolutely annihilated. So unlucky. GG go next, but again, that's a, what was it, a 4v2, something like that.
It was a 2v5, was it?
2v.
Yeah,
2v5?
we got like a 3K for Sea Dragons.
It was a 2v5, yeah. So a 5v2 that Sea Dragons weren't able to convert. And that's pretty inexcusable. You're defending on Nighthaven Labs and already find yourselves at a one-round deficit. I mean, it's looking a bit sketchy from them so far. But, you know, still opportunities to bring it back, and they're going to attempt that with another top floor hold where they were successful the first time around.
Look, I'm not one to point fingers, but greed can be the downbringer of many teams, and Sea Dragons kept on repicking 1v1s for Alex. Again, playing out that demos very gracefully, but hitting those dots even more so. Wizard second round, and the upside of this is that's kind of the already given result the attackers are meant to have within this first half if we go by the regular standard, right? A 3-3-4-2 is completely acceptable, meaning they get any extra round and they're already going to be going good for the second half. So Sea Dragons, they have to claim the majority, if not all these rounds from this point on forward, so not allowed as many mistakes as we just witnessed. We go onto the top floor, right? We see ourselves with the Tuberam mute combination, which is great because the breaches last time around were opened up a bit too quickly, so we don't allow that so easily. Wizards this time around also resorting for a bit of a change, right? Earlier we saw heavy utility, but not as much on the execution side of things. This time being brought around with a Grim, I think is going to make some drastic changes.
Yeah, absolutely, but like you're saying, it's going to be so much more difficult to get that hard breach. Just Sea Dragons tripling down, really. But
no clash.
As we say that, one of these has been taken away, and again, no clash on side this time around. So Wizards, their way forward might be made a little bit easier, but with a tuber out on the board, Rex just throwing that Zoto canister, completely denying the breach attempt there. So Wizards still stunted for now, and these Zoto canisters, there's still another one left in the pocket, so it should be held off for quite some time.
Yeah, we'd expect it to be a bit different from the previous round, right? The clash making it difficult for you to enter, and with her gone, it should be easier to progress, but it doesn't seem that way here for Wizards. They're once more at a stalemate around this connector doorway. They just can't seem to pass on through it because the rotation onto site, being held by some of these players, is just so difficult to pass on around, and then converting that ground coverage over towards electrical, tenfold the difficulty because, again, you have shotguns up close. Yep, Wardy's just such a difficult one to pass on through, and also on the Warden, right? You really can't flash him out of it.
Yeah, that's the tricky factor here. IT also a bit of a question mark for now. Aiken, though, yet again is the player to start to find some impact here on the top floor, and Shiva has found a second. Wizards 2 to the good right now. The Sea Dragons do answer back. There's 40. That shotgun, like we were talking about, has been making it so difficult for the Wizards to enter into the top floor. Rex as well, the DMR, looking to take some shots on over. Knows of Aiken's position, but again, just a stalemate in that corner of the map. 40 seconds left. It's not a lot of time, but Wizards can still get something done. Rex spotted on the drone, and 40 under fire, taking some damage and taken down entirely by Alex, the hero from the previous round. And there's Wilco's getting involved in the action. Rex has got to find his first 4 kills off the map here. Fortunately, the clock is on his side. 20 seconds, Wizards. They've got to try and get in, and no one has the case in hand right now, but 2 players from this main stairs position are going to be able to find the kill. It's the gunfights that let Wizards win the round, but they're already up to 3.
Yeah, this is a promising beginning here. Now, again, when it comes down to this level of competition, we're not in T1, so we can't really base the results off of it. See, Dragons could be an attacker-sided team for all we know, but I do appreciate the tactical timeout. I think a lack of tactical timeouts in general in Siege is such barren wasteland of way too much of it being way too common, but we get one from Sea Dragons. They talk things out. Anyone takes a potty break if they need, but we see some mistakes, right? These gunfights are not going our way. We're not playing together. The Warden's doing his job around electrical and holding these players back from being able to push forward and gain that extra coverage, extra lines of sight onto your defenders. But when it comes down to Rafters, IT, it's given up way too easily. So the IQ player, I do believe it was Aiken, pushed up, got himself that close confrontation. Even though the Tuberal held his own, right? The rest of the players were wiped and it was instantly a 2v5 or 2v4, whatever it was. Wizards are really good at picking Sea Dragons apart. In a 2v5 or in a 5v5, they always manage to do it. And if they continue down this line without Sea Dragons putting up much of an aggressive fight, we might be going down a similar path. I'd want to see Sea Dragons just try a round, right? We're already down 2 rounds. Play aggressive. Just swing.
Yeah, we'd certainly get some exciting gameplay from it. And Bob, I'm not one to say that the universe has answered our prayers, but we do already technically have a minimum of 8 rounds. I would like it to be a few more than that, though.
Yeah, we're happy for 8 rounds. A lot happier than the 7 we got previous. But,
yeah.
You know, we wouldn't complain over an extra few, you know. It's just
yeah, 9, like 10, 11, that would be pretty sick.
That'd be cool.
Over time, perhaps? That'd be fun.
That'd be exciting here for the group stages. Again, Wizards and Sea Dragons. I've seen Sea Dragons in the previous season. Wizards don't ring a bell, nor do I remember them, but you know, they're certainly showing to be quite the upcomers and definitely a prominent, I would say, spot for one of the grand finalists. I feel like I can see Wizards in the grand finals.
Yeah, apparently Nanos, our observer, seems to think, because we don't have the exact information on the result of the last game, but Nanos seems to believe that Wizards actually lost their first match against Pit Ponies, who, to be fair, did come second last time around, so it's understandable, but we could be looking at a fairly well-established group hierarchy here, especially if Sea Dragons aren't able to put up more of a fight against the Wizards. But that's all in the meta commentary, I suppose. Right here in the game, we're seeing a 3-1 scoreline, and already Jaffers has been taken down low, probably about 20 HP to his name.
Not the greatest of beginnings set aside for a player like the Warden, who always needs to be inside the action and taking a lot of this utility to their first face, but HP-wise, doesn't matter. Digestive is the first to take the blame. We do have verticality being established by Wizards. Buck set down below, looking for information. Sea Dragons are fighting back, and I imagine they're looking to challenge this verticality just about as well. Again, they do want that leverage on the man count. They've gotten themselves the 1 kill on Alex, so the Harbinger of Death from the prior rounds has been set to dust for now. Exchanged by Digestive with the Tuberal gone. The breach should be easily captured upon. Although Sea Dragons, they're sticking nice close to sight, compact, but Wilkos is able to take another off the board. A double swing here does seem IT goes punished, and just bad timing for 40 there. A bullet by Wilkos' chamber to put him to rest. And now Wizards once more feeling the initiation as they only have 2 more to care of. Rex getting distracted, his teammates down, and sadly no more of that buddy system to work alongside with it. You're the last man standing, and there's 4 sharks ready to hunt you down. 45 on the clock. Can you hold out for this entire time? I very heavily doubted. Wizards are still playing aggressive, and even then, right, Wizards, they had a bunch of seconds. They didn't push into this last player to allow him to get these 1v1s and possibly win out the round. They were still playing it safe and held the cross quite patiently.
Yeah, I got a bit deja vu there, Bob, to be honest with you. It's Rex left in a 1v4 on the top floor. Yeah. 2 rounds in a row that situation's happened. So, you know, script writers again getting a bit lazy, but who knows what's in the in the run of show here for round number 6. If you see Dragons, you're hoping that it's a defensive round win, because they've only found one of them so far. And we're back down to the basement site, Assembly and Tank, where they haven't found any success as of yet. They did get a 5v2 situation back in round number 3, but still unable to convert. Now Vorti looking like he might want to get active on the roam with the Skopos, place a shell in the site, and then just run about the map, cause some chaos and mayhem. You can always just slip right on back. So that does appear to be the plan right now. Get a bit more active on the map, waste a bit more time, because the Wizards have been letting that clock run a little low.
Yeah. Round 6 here. Rough score. Again, we're kind of sugarcoating it with the hopes that Sea Dragons are going to be better on this attack, but we are implementing some new changes, or rather new faces and names being brought about. Already on the Scopus, right? It's going to be lovely to see. And then the roam potential on this character is great, but the Wizards have been extremely consecutive with bringing around these roam clearage operators, such as the Dokkaebi, which has been spotted almost every, if not every round up until now. Similarly, as to Alex, who has been quite consistent on the demos and kills. We're doing the objective of hunting down some of these players quite well. Early contention here, we do set Jaffers up a side towards these cargo stairs. The Goyo canisters are already placed, so might as well put that vector to use. And Wizards with a top to bottom clear to take care of any roamers, and again, establish verticality as you normally do.
Really quick entry onto the top floor here from Wizards. Alex and Shiva getting themselves in on the Aqua stairs, but they've got the information from the death mark as well, right? Vorti being spotted on this mid floor and has had to sort of zip right on back down. This is enabling a really fast clear of upstairs. Alex on the Deimos just has all the information. And again, sending another death mark down. Skopos spotted now in the basement. So, yeah, again, information being sent over, and the Wizards are looking in a pretty good shape for the second half of this round.
Yeah, they've been quite quick with the clearance as well, so high ground is already nicely theirs in their pocket, and now Sea Dragons are going to have to play around it. We do see a C4. There were 2 digestive already used up theirs, and I imagine that's where some damage could have been served up if it was kept, but that's only for the ifs and buts. We're going to have to leave that in the past. As now going forward, Shiva able to hack down the Scopo zone, which is definitely something of interest, as Jaffers will be leaving the lobby, and this is just not looking good for Sea Dragons. They're already a player down, and not even an engagement has officially gone down on site. In a 4v5 now, they're hoping to find themselves this opening contact on Wizards, because again, there hasn't been any bloodshed, but I'm hoping they're going to be able to work it around, because they're already 1-4 down.
Yeah, the positive is that this time is running low. That C4 does find the injure onto Aiken, down but not out though. And Shiva is going to be able to pick him back up, but the walking route wounded here really for the Wizards. Nomad on 20 HP. But still alive and kicking, and still with the gun in hand. That's the most important thing. Wilco's gun is also working. Vorti gets taken down. Digestive, though, finds a response. Rex as well. Hello. Here's a possibility. His first kill of the game, and almost looking for a second as well. Alex on the stairs in danger, and Digestive also finds one. It's left to Awaken, the low HP player, in a 1 versus 3, and into the red time. 7 seconds left. He's got to get in, get this plant down. The flashbang comes on out. Rex in trouble, Billy Ray as well, trying to sprint on round, and this should be it for the Sea Dragons. A palindromic bookend to the half. They win the first, they win the 6th, but still just the 2 rounds on the board on the defense.
Considering the odds they were up against, extremely impressive. They held down and bunkered into side well. They used their utility, even injured the Nomad, so the push on the attacking side would be delayed. And that delay was all they had, right? You talked about it. The defenders, the one up they have is that clock ticking against the attackers, forcing them to make a move before it runs out. And in the end, that's what ended up being the deciding factor. Just running out, forcing to be for the plan there, and you not being able to take any gunfights as you're down to the final 5. You're going to have to stick it. We go on to the second second half. I'm hoping that Sea Dragons are going to get themselves back into it now. The attacking side is ahead of them. It's a long path still to not only equalize, but then get ground over Wizards who are on the defensive. We see these bans, and again, Maverick and Ace, I'm not too surprised about, meaning that Sea Dragons might be going for a possible bandit trick against the Thermite, which is a very good counter on the defensive, although they're not going to be able to play around that Cade, the Clash. The one upside here is, again, batteries are faster than exothermics, but a bandit is extremely easy to clear, right? We're taking a look at this IT breach. You already see, right, that there's a lot of soft surface below Spirit, so the attackers, they send an Ash Charge, they send a Buck, and that breach will not be standing for long.
Yeah. Scary, scary prospects, and Sea Dragons, they do have a bit more to work with here in terms of their breaches, which honestly might be able to give them that leg up that they need. Obviously, 2 rounds behind, but they've been given a lifeline here, I think, by the Wizards bans.
Maybe. At least for 3 rounds, that is. I do wonder when we get to that second phase of bans, the last third that needs to be still picked off, if Wizards are going to still look to kind of be extremely strict about getting rid of the hard breachers alone, or is there going to be another attacker that might set that aside? And yeah, we talk about it digesting. Ooh, the wall bang, the floor bang onto Spirit, bringing him extremely low. The bandit does shoot back, and there was some fortitude set up, but the exothermic is going off, and you're getting shot up from below. But still by the bandit trick, the Zofia digestive didn't stick to his gun.
Oh dear,
Ooh,
oh dearie me, Bob, it's falling apart for the Sea Dragons already. Where we hoped the switch would be that lifeline being sent, perhaps it's just dragging them further out in the Riptide. Miscommunications and some errors really in the play. That breach stays closed for now, and Spirit able to stay alive. Again, has a gun up at the very least. 40's been able to find a kill and a second. Hello! He's in the sight! He's gone in there on this gridlock, and it's just torn them apart a little bit. Alex also falling. That's a triple for 40. He's been shut down, and just like that, the guns for Sea Dragons come alive.
1 kill away from a flawless. What a performance from 40 to turn things on its head, right? A bit of miscommunication, a disjointed defense, and they didn't realize how deep the gridlock has already made her, how deep the wound has been made into their sight, right? Just step in, a triple like it's nothing, you find yourself the final 2, and even though in the end they do end up taking you out, right, you're still able to deal more than plenty of damage for your team to just be the cleanup crew and wipe the dust off the table. That was an extremely solid round here for Sea Dragons, and if we get to see more of them like it, just exposing these tad bit nooks and crannies that Wizards leave open in their backside, it could be an easy conversion to an equalization. Again, once more finding yourself an up 1 on the leaderboard, as now the attackers, I'm hoping that Digestive sticks to the blitz, right? We've seen him on the Clash do quite well, but when you put him onto the little aggressive brother of the trio on the attacking shields, who knows what he'll manage to cook up.
I always love to see some shield gameplay. I mean, we saw Siegeology in the last map on that Montaigne just cause some absolute mayhem. I'm hoping Digestive does some of the same, to be honest with you, because God, it's exciting.
It is. It is exciting. That's one way to put shields, and again, especially when we're working with this very short tempered Digestive in the blitz, was just an absolute train running on through shine. We're gonna have to see that a bit more in action, though. I'm hoping we're not hyping up the shield just for him to be the first to fall. I guess we're gonna have to let time tell us that.
That would suck.
That would suck. That would be an
so
our
sad.
Charlotte prediction, I'll be honest.
Yeah, but it would be a rare Charlotte L, so it's
Would it? No,
yes.
Yes, it would be. Definitely.
It would be.
But
Because I'm
Wizards.
awesome, so
all right. Yeah, you know what? Take the W. I'll just Charlotte, get her out of here. Get her out of here. No, but jokes aside, Again, I think that Digestive will do some decent amount of damage. And also, they're supporting a great counterplay here, right? We see the floors for the Izami. It's a nice little eye for eye, utility for utility. In the meanwhile, the Wizards haven't really felt that Sea Dragons are making a bigger breakthrough yet. It's been very silent up until now, and I'm just waiting for that Blitz to jump into Rafters and, like you said, cause some mayhem.
Yeah, mayhem certainly abounds, but right now, at a bit of a standstill. Billy Ray does take some damage, the first exchange of lead in this round. And now Digestive looking to jump on in. Shiva has found the opening kill onto Rex though. Not the best of starts for Sea Dragons, and you're at a deficit now. This is where only having a pistol available for the shield player can start to become a bit of a detriment for them. Zafir, on the Ash of Vorti, breaching round sent on through to clear some space. Digestive has a spot, but Jaffers also goes down. It's just crumbling right now because Wizards, it's all turning up orange in the kill feed. Not quite a flawless as Vorti just about stays alive. Aiken round the corner with a shotgun wants this done now. And indeed, it's Shiva to finish it off. Simply stunning work there from the Wizards. And they keep themselves in the lead.
Yeah, they get themselves in the lead. They don't allow Sea Dragons to completely close the distance, but it was a round where you allow the defenders to play around these, again, isolated 1v1s. You put a shotgun up close to someone's face, and you can imagine what the result is going to be, although the rest did just about the same. We saw a similar performance in the previous round by Vorti, right? Just jumping into side with Gridlock, getting a triple kill. That's essentially the dumbing it down of the previous round we just witnessed. But now to 3v5, Wizards are one round away from match point. They do hold quite the overhand for Sea Dragons to having, or the need to deny that match point will definitely be a bit of a burden on the attacker's shoulders, as now they're also going to be facing the bottom floor. Now there's many ways of approaching it, and I'm looking forward to see what path Sea Dragons are going to be taking.
I really like the Ossa pick here from Rex, assuming that it stays, of course. As we saw in the first half, it's quite difficult to actually get in to the site when you're on this map, and potentially just having those shields in the way can provide you a little bit of cover, a little bit more of an advantage when you're taking those gunfights in towards the site itself. And if you can get the plant down, then holding for the post plant from outside or even on the site is going to be made that much easier for having the Ossa on board.
Adamus nicely muted up. The exothermic should be done and out. You talked about Osa. Extremely favorable pick here. Are we seriously mute tricking the breach? No way, Wizards. That is meta. But they get it, right? They're still wasting the time of the thermite. Spirit gets away with his utility. He does place it down in the end. It should be impacted in just a moment. And yep, the breach is there on through. But will Sea Dragons look to commit here? We do have a lot of explosive utility from Wizards to shove down right towards that Osa shield and clear it out as soon as they can. But the attackers are sticking extremely religiously outside this main breach. And they're looking to find themselves some easy pick'ems while, in the meanwhile, not really pushing for that upper ground. So I think this is where they're going to remain for quite a bit.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. Impacts EMP towards this Animus breach as well. The exothermic charge should be able to open this up. Spirit prepping a C4 to try and catch something early on, but nothing doing instead. It's the Hive launcher to come on in, and Rex with the nade. That is beautiful. That nade, not quite so much. And the Ossa shield falling there. There we go. Explosives. Destroy the shield. Who knew? Aiken, now the next line of defense. Again, destroying his own utility to get a bit of a better angle towards this breach opening up. And he spotted the Ossa's position.
Well, Max is just merciless on it. We're going to be entering ourselves into site, offering an invitation, and Wizards have found themselves with a bit of an intruder inside their home, and Digestive walks over the welcome mat, able to pick up Shiva, and now left 2. It's going to be down to 1. That's a bit of a pickup here. Alex throws down the C4 of desperation and hope, but it seems like Wizards will not be coming out of this battle as alive, as hopeful for. The round either might have already been decided, or Alex finds himself 4 kills, and within 23 seconds, which is close and near to impossible. Chances are low, not zero. That's the one way of sugarcoating it, but again, Alex, you're not going to find yourself getting out of these battles scot-free unless Wizards offer out up as easily as they would have hoped for this Valkyrie. Yeah, just trying to hope for a couple of these missing shots. You're able to pick up on Digestive, getting it a bit over swingy, swinging wide, second right next to you, pulls out the deagle, shatters the mirror to try and limit the information gained, but you making some of these bullet holes, you making some of these shots come out is plenty for Sea Dragons to find themselves another round as they're once more shadowing behind Wizards, just one round behind.
Yeah, they've reduced the gap again, but even still, they're having to fight tooth and claw for every single round here. And right now, if they want to avoid overtime, they've got to win these next 3 rounds in a row. They cannot afford any more mistakes, but they still do have that buffer of OT potential to find something there. But you know, it's gonna be difficult even still. Wizards go back down to the basement. That's, I think, the main thing to talk about here. And with the Thermite now removed, how do Sea Dragons get themselves into the site? It's looking like we're going to have to rock with the Hibana here.
Yeah, Hibana trick your way through. Maybe even set aside some of their secondary utility if the Hibana ends up falling, so you have a second chance of breaching with can openers. But in general, I think this is going to be a bit more towards that vertical side of things. They found themselves quite a good escapade towards site in general. Get that breach on open on both sides, pick off some of the Wizard players, and find yourself a nice little 5v2. That was the prior round, though. I imagine Wizards are going to be a bit more reluctant to answer upon a similar play if it were tend to happen. But Sea Dragons, again, they know that. They're just going to roam upstairs once more, set aside, or rather put themselves into a position of vertical stand ground, push down these cargo or ventilation stairs, or not ventilation, vending machine stairs. We also see the gridlock for flying cover, but Wizards, you know, they still do try and... Actually, no, they're not even going to deny the plan. They have a Tuberao to kind of stall it out, but no mute.
Yeah, eventually this will get opened up. Not for right now, though. There's the Soto canister onto the wall. But again, here on the site, it's all quiet on the basement front so far. Sea Dragons trying to go for things a little bit more from above. I know that those breaches are going to be more difficult to open up, and trying to find different angles of approach here in towards the site and potentially to try and find any roamers. Again, though, they're going to be found wanting a little bit here because most of these Wizards players are downstairs. In fact, they've just got Alex over towards the vending stairs, still very much adjacent to the site. But not adjacent enough to not catch Digestive. A little bit too greedy on the drop down there, perhaps, and even despite the drone information, goes down a 5v4 for the defense.
All right, Alex, we see the vision. Getting some of these enemies lost in the shots, while though Vorti is able to return the favor. And even though a bit more on-site confrontation from the outside of the building itself, she was looking to strike back just about the same. But again, you're at a bit of a disadvantage, laying down little to no movement. You back off that fight, you find it a bit unwinnable. In the meanwhile, those Sea Dragons have been able to establish, again, this upper ground. They should be able to work around it, though. They still have a barricade to pass on through, and Alex will not be following so easily unless you put Jaffers up to the job to instantly head tab the so-called player. And now that one extra obstacle has been put down. As the attackers, again, we've been loving this from Sea Dragons. They don't feel the need to rush things through. They're going to take their sweet, precious time, nicely set up, as they do recognize Wizards are in a very uncomfortable position, and with little to no movement, Wilkos can only accept the fate from above as another falls. Flashes are coming out. Information is hacked thanks to the Dokkaebi. You do have those smoke babes to kind of shut down these attackers from entering on in, but your comrade falls, and Vorti's able to deal the third blow this round as Shiva's the last one standing right around that default plan towards A, trying to lurk around and find himself the best opportunity to pick off any ones. The head is spotted, but Jaffer spots it prior before you can get the shot. And it will be the attackers claiming one more. I do believe this should be now an equalization.
It absolutely is 5-5, and yet again we see a defensive side completely capitulate when on the basement. I mean, we saw it in the first half as well. Not quite as dramatic as a 5v2, but even still, Wizards were set up. They had the opening kill. They were in a really nice position, but just couldn't hold on. And potentially now for Sea Dragons, they start to feel themselves in the ascendancy here. They need, obviously, to get at least one more to secure OT, but the momentum's with them, and right now, Wizards, they've got to find this round.
Attackers have discovered the location.
Yeah, it's been a couple, and again, as much as we said that or at least I said the defenders are normally preferred, it is down to these two teams to make that choice for themselves, and both of them do prefer the attack, it seems like, by the end game, and currently Sea Dragons on a bit of a streak on their second half could potentially close things out within regulation still, as long as they're able to claim 2 of the following in a row. Same goes for Wizards, though. It's a both-way equally sided battle, but how you're going to catch Sea Dragons off guard, as in you haven't been able to do so in the past couple, is going to be completely up to you. We do bring out, again, a bit of a change of players. Shiva does go for a spawn peek, I imagine, yep, and is going to be paying the price of leaving the battle quite damaged. Are we going for another swing, Shiva? Do we not learn our lesson? There's still bullets flying your way, and only one, you're going to be out of the competition.
It's quite bold, that's for sure. The Warden, life on the line, playing with fire, and now just caught out in the open. A lack of awareness, perhaps? I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, but either way, Wizards find themselves in the deficit yet again. Sea Dragons, we said the momentum was with them, and now that opening pick goes their way too. They're going to be feeling themselves to take this round, to take map point for themselves.
Oh yeah, I just can't get over the fact that the Warden's goofy run was just so caught off guard by an enemy on his 6, hoping that he could get away and outrun bullets, but sadly you're not the Flash, and Wizards now with a player down. They do still have a roamer, however, and it's going to be Alex, who, by the way, amazing performance, 18 and 8. Maybe the KD isn't as bright as the kills, but in general, still has been able to reach those double digits, and with over a kill per round, definitely an outperformer, just like Rory, who we can't discredit, has been dealing just about the same, so they're in a bit of a race on who's able to get the most picks in this entire matchup. Mute spotted out. That's going to be the jammer, but not taken out. I guess we're just going to wait on for a moment to get it. Although breaches have not yet been made, and as much as Sea Dragons have found their first kill, that's really the only major step they've had.
Yeah, indeed. Hafnat Dreadmine's in the way. Aiken's utility proving useful. Wasting a bit more time as we enter the final 70 seconds here of round number 11. Again, Billy Ray getting stopped at the point of entry here towards the warehouse balcony, but has been able to clear that and establishes the position. Now, Rafters under the control of the attack. Sea Dragons now with angles cutting the slice into pieces and just giving the Wizards a little bit less security in their positions. As now comes the swing. Wilkos has been able to take down Jaffers. Not quite the backup that you want, and there's the second. The Vector going crazy, and the Wizards have spun the advantage on its head. Now just 25 seconds for Sea Dragons to reclaim the advantage, to get into the site. And well, Billy Ray is starting to do that, but not for long. Wilkos again for the triple. He wants to try and find an ace potentially, but Aiken takes it away from him. Not going to matter though if the round still goes their way, and the quad still attempted as Rex, now 1-on-2 with only 3 seconds left, has just got to try and run in. There's the down and starting to plant. Alex should be able to find this. There's the ping on him and the headshot to boot. Wizards just about stay alive and do have map point.
You know, at the start of the game, how many rounds did we ask for, Charlotte? 8?
Yeah. And then we went, 11 or 12 would be nice.
11, 12? Hell, maybe even 15. This is looking like
cool.
That would be really cool. That would be quite epic. Am I legally allowed to say epic sauce? Is that still like acceptable?
I'm a big epic sauce enjoyer, so I say go for it. But I'm also unk as hell, so.
Yeah, you are pretty unk. You're pretty old. I mean, get him a crane already. Maybe a wheelchair, honestly. But
a crane? What?
No, a cane, not a crane. Did I put an R in there?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's just my hearing. Obviously, you know, I'm old.
Yeah,
and
you're
all that,
you
so.
are pretty old. Do you haven't? I'm sorry. You know, we will try not to bring it up. It's a very sensitive topic here. But in general,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
possible
so
50.
much older than you. Hey, Bob. You know, just
Your age is
what's
ahead.
that? 2 months, something like that.
Relic, fossil. Honestly, Wizards.
We'll say 2.5. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Oh my god, yes! Wizards, one more round. 7-5 or Sea Dragons bringing us to the big OT. In the previous map, we saw an operator with a microwave who's also very renowned for being the baldest of the stack being banned. This time, Shiva gives us the opportunity of seeing the bald man in action.
Bald men are pretty cool as well. You could even describe them as epic source.
Are you bald yet?
I'm not. I'm not bald yet, but you know, give it time. We'll see what happens. Either way, the breach starting to get opened up here. IT, there's an angle created, and potentially something to come from it. Now the skeleton key opens up, and an angle of entry and just line of sight now open as well.
Ooh, 40. Beautiful utilization around those skeleton keys. Open up the warehouse main wall. And again, this is going to be huge for Wizards and the rotation, their movement, right? Not as much wiggle room, but Shiva here with a potential kill. Oh, that castle just make it a bit more difficult, but really tempted by the C4. I imagine calls are out and the pulse might be heard from below, although I don't think Sea Dragons are going to be paying too much attention to it. And Shiva's just kind of following up on the Habana player, who also holds the case, so could be a potential downplay, a setback. Wizards with their opening. And again, if they want to finish things out within regulation, this is certainly one way to start things off with.
Yeah, information being gathered here. Wizards set themselves up with the advantage. A man to the good right now. But there's some pings coming through on these defensive players. Billy Ray might be able to get something, but no, there's the C4 from Aiken. Rex at least finds a response, an answer back, but so low on health himself now. It's going to be difficult to get something on the board here for Sea Dragons, but they have to. They need this round to get to overtime, otherwise the game doesn't go their way. And Shiva's still providing this information from below. The heartbeat sensor is giving them the intel. And right now, Sea Dragon scrambling to try and find some pressure on towards the site. It's Vorti on the window with some kind of angle, but again, no one's there, and Shiva's getting this information. Now they know they're in, and this should be given over. Rex has taken some damage. Vorti at least gets one before falling, and it's all down to Jaffers in a 1 versus 2. TMR in his hand. A revive just not possible in the Overwatch. Now shot through the floor. But that gives a bit of information over. Wilco's has gone down himself. A 1 versus 1. But there's barely any time. And still Shiva just able to get things done from below. But now hopping up onto the table. That secures the plant for Jaffers and Shiva. It's a long rotation round. And hop out the window. Jaffers should be able to have an angle from this instead. Going round towards this other side. He's been spotted on the drone, however. That's information for Shiva. Better HP on the pulse as well. Now the cross being spotted. Information giving over the whole damn time. But Jaffers lands the headshot and takes us into OT.
Overtime, here we come. We go from map number 1 being a 7-0 to the full 15, possibly at least the 14 secured here. And Sea Dragons with their last line of defense to hold it in their own. It will be the Dokkaebi Jaffers to clutch things out. And well, the Pulse just not being there to expect the Dokkaebi for going towards that stock table plant, if you could consider, or the box where you get a lot of security. And even if the Pulse attempted to go for a couple of random floor bangs, I don't think he could have been able to find the shot accurately enough. So, again, well played by the Dokkaebi in the final stage. Recognized all that was at the deck and played all those cards as correctly as possible. But now we head into this overtime. And again, it's back down to a situation of who's able to claim down the first 2 rounds. We were in a similar standpoint when the 5-5 struck. But now, Wizards on the defense, Sea Dragons once more on the attack. And as we've seen Sea Dragons on the attack quite recently, well, the past few rounds we've been watching, right? They're confident.
Yeah, literally it's a coin flip now. I could not tell you which way this is going to go. I think Wizards potentially have a slight leg up, but
10 seconds to
it's been an attacking-sided Nighthaven Labs so far, and Sea Dragons get 2 of those rounds here in overtime. So honestly, who knows? The only way to find out is by watching, and round number 13, again, this is going to be instrumental to the outcome of the game, but no one can win it just here.
Yeah, up until now, I think Sea Dragons have been a bit more consistent throughout these rounds. It's just Wizards being able to play at their normal, which is extremely well, or these couple of rounds where they've lost, which is allowing Sea Dragons to expose some of your small mistakes that you let pass on by very easily. That's cost them rounds very heavily again. Like we saw Vorty being a great example on that. Gridlock sneaking into side, finding the 1v3, or 3k essentially. That's what Wizards allow it to happen a bit too much, and that's where Sea Dragons have been punishing them off of it. So I think that's what these following 2 rounds are going to depend off of, but we still have to wait and see right now. Sea Dragons on the attack are going to nicely establish themselves into the building, slow and patient, with the Blackbeard as well going quite alone, but again, you have that shield, you can clear out things pretty confidently.
Well, here we go. Potential spot, but mirror window in the way. Wilco's will get the information. Nothing here for Jaffers. It's a slow creep up. Digestive here on the Blackbeard. Shiva might get caught off guard, but all the angles slightly betraying things. And Shiva, lucky to be alive. Grenade sent through, and he's still able to escape. Many guns trained on the position, but Wizards still get out with a 5-on-5.
Wow. What an entry here. Sea Dragons went from 1 player around the CC side to 4 charging and barging, while the Digestive is going to be reclaim its territory around Warehouse side. Nice little rotation supported by the Buck. Information is there, but Aiken just a bit curious to peek on over towards that fencing and finding Digestive, finishing the job that could not have been done by Shiva earlier. A bit of damage towards the Fenrir's way, but it won't be more than a kill, which Billy Ray is able to commit upon Shiva and finish the already damaged Warden, as now flashes towards Connector. Sea Dragons have spread themselves out with a shot from Aiken. Quick little peek to secure another. Again, Wizards aren't going to be letting go of it so easily, as Calamity falls upon Sea Dragons, and they don't have much but Wardy, who again has dealt absolute plays in the past, but you're going to need to rely on another. And do you wear the same cape, or will it be Wizards ripping it off of you? Great hack shot onto Wilco's. Still possible. Time is there, but not a lot of it, that's for sure. You are full HP'd. You're able to find the second. The shorty on Elix. What are we doing?
No way.
Just taking you apart, piecing you up. Pulls out the secondary as well. And barely, but the silver lining, you're able to claim it. The confidence of Elix here, outstanding. But Wizards, with 1 player remaining in a 1v4, was it? Or a 1v5?
1v4, yeah.
Oh my, oh God, Vorty
He
almost got away with it.
He almost got that. Alex is so damn lucky to not be the...
Why was he on the shorty
to not be in the
drop?
gallows, honestly. Like, Wizards very nearly lost that round. I do feel for Vorty though, because that was a really nice attempt.
Yeah.
Now they've got a defense round of their own. And they're going down to the basement, where they're only able to win 1 of their 3 attempts down here. They're going to have to hope they can get that win rate up to 50%.
Yeah. Again, that's what I'm talking about, right? When Wizards allow these small mistakes to slip by, which this wasn't a small mistake, this was a large mistake, but it almost converted a 1v4 to a Sea Dragons round, which again would have been match point. They go on to the defensive, and God knows where it goes on from there. This is a lot of puppeteering from the side of Wizards, and the super shorty, it's just incredible to see you pull it out on that distance and still get away with it. Honestly, Avoidy could have switched to the Skeleton, but hey, Skeleton Key, but we're going to leave that for now. We're going on to the following round, and now Wizards once more hold the position of being able to finish things out. Now, was it Sea Dragons who reached match point first earlier? They were the ones at a 6-5. No, it was Wizards actually. So yeah, they're again holding match point over Sea Dragons. But I do wonder, or one can only wonder, if they're going to take care of it here and now.
That's the question. Mute Jammer's in the way. Not for long. Soto Canister does get sent on in to try and prevent the breach from opening up just this early. But as things stand, again, the full map clear from Wizards. They're being diligent. They're doing the due process right now. But how much time gets spent on this roam clear where, you know, again, you've got Jaffers in cargo and Vorti on the vending stairs yet again. It's a common position for defenders on this map. How long do they spend clearing? Because, well, Jaffers has been spotted and he's out of there.
Shiva on a bit of a hunt, trying to find these default angles around cargo stairs. You open up a hole, followed by Elix. Again, Wizards have forced some of these players down quite quickly, and the defenders aren't looking to risk any of their lives. Trying to battle it out towards vertical sides of things. They have found success in the prior couple of rounds. Just by bunkering down in sight, they still have a lot of utility to work around. 2 C4s, Rex is still holding his, so I'm just wondering when that's going to land. But the first one doesn't claim anything. And again, there's still plenty remaining, so only a matter of time until Sea Dragons feel the need to throw those out again. They just have small bits of damage. I imagine that's verticality doing its job. Dokkaebi calls are out, and that's going to be the second and last logical bomb. No, still one more in the pocket. Spirit picking up Jaffers. That's first one to be found. Wardy, you know you want to. You're being tempted. Just do it.
Yeah, there's a C4. It doesn't get the catch, still peppering shots through the ceiling. Can't quite land it. The hard flooring there, saving Aiken's life. And now Shiva on the stairs is going to be applying more pressure. Vorti then falls from above. Wizards in a 5v3 now. Victory, they can taste it, but Digestive, he's ripping it out of their mouths. Tongues cut off right now as Shiva falls, and again, peril thrown into play here as the timer keeps on ticking lower. Sea Dragons bunkering down right now. Their biggest star though, Vorti, has been taken out. It's on the others. They've got to try and do something here, and against Aiken, that might prove difficult. He's found a second kill of the round, and he's found a 4 versus 2 for his side. They look to try and fight their way on in. Billy Ray sends in the Toxic Babe as we head into red time. There's the other entry being taken away. The plant isn't safe or secure, and he's heard the drop of the one. Skewered upon, Pincer in the corner, but Digestive, he's just prone in the corner. He can win this out, and he does! Sea Dragons stay alive! A 1v4 hero play from Digestive, and we're going all the way!
Digestive, what a menace! No way they get away with it! That is criminal, hiding around, and I love how Wizards were so open about trying to find the last defender, right? They were seeking him out because they were terrified of what could happen if they don't, but constantly beneath their noses, a millimeter away from the diffuser, and within a couple of seconds remaining from the plant going down, found himself in the perfect spot, bringing us to map number 15.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
Yeah, and the crazy thing as well is so far in overtime, Sea Dragons have had 2 1v4 situations, and they've been able to win out one of them. Like, that shouldn't be happening, but now in round number 15, they've got to hope that, well, they can have a bit more stability than needing a 1v4. Because, goodness me, Wizards should have had that. The Wizards should have been able to close it out there. They should be 8-6. We should be on our face cams right now, Bob. But instead, we keep going here on Nighthaven Labs.
Well, there's always an end to a story, and this is the very last round here for today, and map number 2. So there's not going to be a second chance for any of these two teams. Now, if Wizards are going to, again, allow such a play to happen by Sea Dragons, they're going to be the only ones costing themselves these rounds, which Sea Dragons have been reaping off of quite happily. I imagine there's a great grin on their faces as they get away with some of these. But now we head into the last possible round. Not much aggression from Wizards. They're not going for too many spawn peaks, I hope. But as a beginning now, good progression. Attackers get the breach. Now they can progress with the Blackbeard.
Yeah, Digestive on this operator once again. Try and find a bit more space, a bit more presence and pressure around the map. Force Wizards into difficult situations, but right now, again, it's a measured approach from the attacking side here. They don't want to get too hasty. Letting the drones do the work and just gather all of that information while We just have Digestive waiting on the sidelines here on CC Balcony.
Drowning out the Melusi. Information there. Logic Bomb is out and Rex falls. Alex here. Early confrontation tries to go for the swing. I imagine the attempt was towards this Blackbeard, but again, him being protected ends up having the striker behind him being the difficulty as the second arises already. The kill feed has been lit up by Alex. 2 kills for the Warden already, and Digestive has no clue. The Warden's right around them. Don't you see the Fedora? Triple, he's able to get away with it, and Wizards won't be letting such mistakes on their side slip on by so easily. They're not getting over aggressive. They've seen what it's cost them in the past couple of rounds. Billy Ray and Voidy. If you want any players in a clutch situation, it's these two. It's specifically Voidy, who's on 15 kills. Billy Ray able to climb that mountain of the KD game as well with a 7th. And now in a 4v2, don't have the case. They're a bit separated. Another swing here, almost punishing Aiken, but it won't be there just to finish the job. As now the Finner are getting a bit over aggressive. Voidy is holding the cross of a possible...
No way.
Billy Ray finds Shiva. This could be a potential return. A pre-fire from Spirit to put Voidy down. And now in a 1v3, a minute for Billy Ray here. Can still plausibly do it, but again, it's going to be down to these low odds and chances. Has verticality set up by his teammates, but the Fenrir is feeling a bit cautious, maybe even curious to try and see where this last player stands. The sound cue should be there. Bullets go your way. You're trying to find a resort, but have no clue where these defenders stand. And again, you're playing against time, but even the case is being held hostage as you don't have the odds you'd want to work with, especially majorly. No comrades left. The shots are then, and Aiken is able to finish it out, even though Wizards have given out catastrophical rounds. This one will not be risked, and we have ourselves the match, 8-7.
Well, SEA Dragons, they fall victim to the Wizards' curse here on Nighthaven Labs. And the Wizards keep themselves into the tournament life, really, because they lost there. They'd be 0 for 2. But now it all rests on the game tomorrow between the Pit Ponies and SEA Dragons to see who ends out the group on top and who, crucially, doesn't make it through into the playoffs bracket. I mean, it's certainly been a game. We've had both ends of the spectrum today, Bob. We had a 7-0 and an 8-7.
Yeah, and Tribal. They ended up losing 0-7. They ended up going against Wolfhounds, and it was also a 7-0 against Tribal. So, shameful results. Sadly, we won't be seeing them anymore.
They didn't win a round in the group stage. That's quite rough. Yeah, but as things stand, you can see Wizards keeping themselves in with a chance there with that win on 3 points as well. As for Group A, the playoffs contenders are confirmed. It's going to be the Goats and the Wolfhounds, but they still have to get a match to decide which of them is going to be the top seed, and that's also coming next week. So plenty of excitement there, Bob. Just a question though. I mean, SEA Dragons in the chat earlier, they were saying that they're going to win WEL this season. After that showing today, what do we think? It was certainly close, but where do we stand on this team?
Well, I think it's still possible. Get a bit more warm-up in. Honestly, this match was, as much as I hate to say it, and this is not me hating on Sea Dragons, it was dependent on Wizards. Some of these rounds that they won, I mean, a 1v4.
They shouldn't have won. Yeah.
They should not have won. This should have been a quicker match, but it was down kind of to the mercy of Wizards and their own mistakes. Sea Dragons, again, I do think they were a bit more consistent, but there's some rough teams here. Now, it's not impossible, but I think they're going to have to work really hard for it.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And just a word on that result. Wizards, they played Nighthaven their first game. We now have the score for that. It was a 7-2 loss for the Wizards, sorry. So Pit Ponies got the dub there. Also on Nighthaven Labs. So they've had a lot of Nighthaven Labs practice today. And hey, I mean, the practice paid off just about in the end with this victory coming on out. Just a point as well. The other game, like you mentioned, Wolfhound 7, Tribal 0, which is, yeah, not ideal for them, but that's the way that these groups have shaken up and shaped up, really. So we're all left to look at next week with Goats Wolfhounds to decide the top team in Group A, and Pit Ponies Sea Dragons to decide who is going to be in the playoffs from that Group B as well. So that's all to come next week. It's all very, very exciting, Bob. And there's still yet more Esports Wales to come this week. The CS2 tournament is tomorrow, so make sure that you tune back in for that. Same time, same place, over here on Twitch TV Esports Wales. I've been Charlotte, joined by Puffobob. We've had Kashi on the production, Nanos on the observing. Thank you all very much for watching. So we're going to send it off for today. So thank you all. Goodbye.